Hey friends, it is good to be with you on Read Through the Word. It is June the 19th. I'm kind of emotional right this second because I turned back in my Bible as I looked down at our lesson. It made me, as I was thinking of how I was going to start our lesson today, it made me think of, oh, I know exactly the answer to this question. A question popped in my head. And I found the answer, and it's just kind of took my breath away for just a second. So why is the Lord gracious to me? You know, Israel, you know what? I'm not even on the right day. Hold on a second. Let's see. Here we are. Israel and Judah, both. All the people of Israel have a long history of disobedience and idolatry and abandoning God and Him coming back and saving them, and had the period of judges, and now King Hazael of Aram had oppressed Israel during the entire reign of King Jehoahaz. There's just a history of that, and there's a history of that in our own lives, right? I mean, can we just let's just nod and agree together? There's a history of that in our own lives. But verse 23, wow. But the Lord was gracious and merciful, and I almost want to put a comma like He always is, to the people of Israel, and they were not totally destroyed. He pitied them because of His covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And to this day, He has not completely destroyed them or banished them from His presence. Because of His covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God showed mercy and compassion on a people group that did not deserve it because of His covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He didn't completely destroy them because He is a promise-keeping God. Just let that sit with you for just a second. They deserved punishment, death. But He didn't give them what they deserved. Let's fast forward a little bit. Another people group and another day was shown compassion and mercy, and did not receive what they deserved because of God's covenant with Abraham. Galatians 3:9 says, so all who put their faith in Christ share the same blessing of Abraham that Abraham received because of his faith. And that blessing is in Genesis, I want to say 13. I'm not 100% sure. You know what? Let me see if I can find it right quick. Usually my Bible just goes right back to those January dates. And some of you are telling me the answer right now because you know it. Let's see. It's in Genesis. Genesis 15, which says that God is going to bless all nations through Abram at the time. Because Abram says, I don't have anybody to leave all this to. He says, I can leave it to Eliezer, my my servant, but I don't have a child. And God stepped him outside and he said, just look up there. So another time, because of Abram's faithfulness, we were the recipients of mercy and grace that we did not deserve. Fast forward even further. I asked myself the question, who am I being blessed? Why am I being blessed by God's mercy and compassion? Who lived righteously in a covenant with God so that I could be blessed? Who obeyed God on my behalf? In Exodus 20 it says, I will bless those who are for 1,000 generations, for those who are obedient to me. I'm living in that because of my grandmother. I looked back, I was like, how old was she when she passed? Her birthday's April 6th. And in my Bible, I have people's birthdays, the anniversary of their death, and wedding anniversaries and special occasions and things like that, so that I can remember to text people on those special days, those days where there's sorrow. I like to text my friends. So I looked back on April 6th, and in 2016 is when she went to be with Jesus. She was 98. So if she was alive, she'd be 102. But I'm living in a blessed relationship, and I receive the mercy and compassion of God because of her. She was saved early in her life, but she totally and radically started living for the Lord when my granddaddy was saved, after he surrendered his life and to the Lord and stopped drinking and gambling. And I know her prayer life, and I know how she prayed for her family, her 5 children, her 4 girls and 1 boy, and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren and the great-grandchildren. We all in our family are recipients of mercy and grace that we didn't deserve. So my question to myself is, who will be blessed because of my faith in God and my relationship with Him? Will it be my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, my great-great-great-grandchildren? For 1,000 generations beyond me, will they be blessed because I obeyed God and I took Him up on His promises? Why is the Lord gracious to you? Think about today, who has lived a life that has been blessed, and you are a recipient of that blessing, a byproduct, maybe, if you will, of that blessing. And I want to just speak real candidly to you, because the Lord just prompted me. You might be the first generation in your lineage to live a life that's obedient to Christ, that stands on the promises of His Word, that can change the course of your family. And for that is awesome. The pivot will turn in a different way because of you and your commitment to the Lord and His Word. You might not see it right now, but one day somebody's going to be looking back and saying, I don't remember her, but I remember people talking about her, and she loved the Lord. And I don't remember him, but I've heard great stories about him and how he served the Lord. Yeah. Wow. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow on Read Through the Word.